of an extra bonus.
Well, I look forward to this one as well. It's going to be fun. I love casting Protoss since my race as well, and I really wonder if we are going to see something like that. I'm sure that, like, I spoke a little bit with a couple of the guys earlier today, and they all said that they do watch competitions like the WCS, so they know what kind of crazy stuff is possible on this map.
Yeah.
And I would really love to see someone just like really trying to execute an MC build on a map like this or something. I think that would be so fun.
That would be so juicy. I mean, I mean, like. Those are the sort of things that dreams are made of, because, you know, people have their favorite teams, but it's kind of like the Roman arena, where what they really want to see is drama and bloodshed. No way! Proxy 2 Stargate Oracle, more. That's the sort of stuff that makes it super fun. So it looks like, as these two players are getting set up, we see that heading into this match, a Protoss versus Protoss, I'm curious what your thoughts are on some of the better, more standard builds on this map, and also some of the kookier, crazier ones.
I think Stargate play in general is very popular among Protoss players on every level, even at the absolute highest level, at the lowest level, and especially when you look at your Diamond Leagues Protoss players or your Master League Protoss players, and even the GMs. I think Stargate on Habitation Station is almost always a solid choice. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see at least one of the players maybe open up with an Oracle, maybe even both of them. Then things get really crazy and dicey. We could also just see some good old gateway pressure, which is just popular among across the board. Everyone loves some good old gate pressure.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've done your fair share of dirty 4 gates in your day, Sean.
Hey, you take it back, Rotterdam. I did 4 gate. I was young. But I mean, with on this map, I really think that, especially with the success we've seen out of players like Huck, who just continue to do really strong gateway pushes in all matchups, 3-gate Mothership core rush is a really effective answer to a lot of the odd, awkward cheeses that you can face, because you sort of take initiative, but it does put you behind in tech. So, I don't know. Like you say, the Stargate plays are always strong, but what would you say is the most unusual build that we're going to see on this map?
The most unusual build that I can imagine on Habitation Station would probably be just a 1-base Blinkstalker opening, because it's not a very good map for the Blinkstalkers. Like, it can always work, and if you're really damn sure, like, it sounds crazy because we talk about this being a good Stargate map, so normally Blinkstalkers are effective against Stargate, but on this map, even if you use the Blinkstalkers, they can pretty much only be used defensively, unless your opponent messes up, but these guys are good enough not to mess up, so I'd be surprised if we see them open up with the Twilight Console.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and be taking a look at some of the players that will be playing on this map coming up. Let's start with the Protoss player representing Team Microsoft. It's going to be Light Brigade, who's been a long-standing member of Team Microsoft, but is a little bit low on games this season, only playing 4 total games this season, not even as much as his opponent.
But, I mean, he does have an excellent win record. He won 3 out of the 4 games, so that's 75%. That's, of course, something to be very proud of. And he also gave some fantastic answers, Sean, because we asked him why did he decided to play Protoss, and he said, well, they were the shiniest as a kid, and now they have super laser beams. Who wouldn't choose Protoss? I must say, you can't really argue with that logic.
And that's what compelled you and I to switch to Protoss, right?
Pretty much. And the fact that they're also really strong every now and then. But we leave that out in the interviews. We just talk about the supersonic lasers and the flashy colors. His opponent has played 5 games, like you mentioned. His win record not as high, but still pretty solid. He was able to win games. That's the most important thing to look at.
Oh, of course, yes. Because that's the best part about the team environment. You don't have to be the player that goes 15-1 like you would if you wanted to win a tournament, or you just have to not lose. If you get those key wins in those key situations, that's it. You've helped bring your team to victory. And of course, his favorite TV show is Hannibal. And if you haven't seen the season 2 finale, oh my God. Oh, no spoilers, but you have to see that show.
I didn't even know it was a show. I thought it was only a movie. My mind is blown right now. There's actually a TV show called Hannibal.
Oh my God, and it's amazing. Mads Mikkelsen's just a beautiful man.
I learn so much from you every given day, Sean.
Well, it looks like the players are set up. They are joining the game. It's going to be, again, Light Brigade versus Abaddon.
And it's going to be a PvP, which should be fun. And like we said as well, we can look into the statistics. One guy has a positive win record, the other one has a negative one. But PvP is a matchup that really stands on its own. For instance, me, myself, I am absolutely horrible against Zerg. So if you would give me 10 games and I would play 10 games against Zerg, I might have like a 20% win record. But if you switch that against Protoss, it should be a little higher at least. Maybe not that much higher, but at least a little higher.
Are you still trying to do that 3-stalker opening?
Yes, I will never let it. I can't let it go, Sean. It reflects me. It's part of my personality.
But I can micro, and then you get 3 Phoenixes, and you're like shooting overlords, and then you just lose to any number of roaches early.
That's pretty much my PvC. You summed it up in a nutshell. But it's fun.
Oh, dude.
I'm having the time of my life with my 3 stalkers. Leave me alone. Okay?
Dude, those wins that you get with those stalkers, you feel so clever.
Yeah, every now and then they open without a gas, and then they just keep going, man. It's unlimited amount of fun till the end of the game.
It's like calling with a gut shot straight draw in poker, because when you hit, you're like,
yeah, called it.
Of course it hit. I knew that was coming. I'm a thinker.
Yeah.
So it looks like Abaddon is in the game. I'm going to ask him if he's ready. He hasn't said anything yet.
I think it's going to be our first PvP, first mirror matchup of the day, and I think it's also our only PvP mirror matchup. We have a lot of Protoss games after this.
Oh, you mean Protoss mirror match of the day? Yeah.
And we also have a TVZ. Of course, yeah, we did have a CVZ, but so this is going to be the only times when you guys actually see Protoss go up against Protoss, which is always guaranteed fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, this is the sort of matchup where people tend to, under pressure, want to rely more on those one basing type plays, those surprise type plays, because I think in pretty much of all the matchups, it is the most effective to do at all levels of play. I mean, in Terran versus Terran, it's very hard to try to win on one base, but in this matchup, the strength of the Stargate units early on in small numbers, the strength of Warpins, the strength of Dark Templar.
When behind Dark Shrine, but even when the game starts, there's nothing wrong with the Dark Shrine either. Either way, as you guys can see, we are loaded into our second game of the day. And Sean, why don't you go ahead and introduce our stars?
Well, the superstar up in the top right, representing Team Microsoft, it is none other than Light Brigade. Clap, clap, clap. Clap, clap, clap. I can't get over the paper clip. And spawning up in the top left-hand corner, hoping to put the first win on the screen for Team National Instruments, it is Abaddon. And look at this. There's the bird from the interview rotating right there.
So much American pride over here. All these bald eagles. I'm inspired.
I love it. And ooh, this is a very early probe scout.
I think he might gonna. Do you think he's gonna try to steal the assimilators?
Oh my God, he did this before.
Really?
He's done this before. He's gonna sneak behind. And there's one. Oh, what are you doing?
No.
No, there it is.
No.
Oh, God.
He forgot that they're next to each other.
Oh
I believe.
no. Oh.
This could have worked. This could have been fantastic.
Oh, Abaddon. Oh no. Well, he's gonna take one.
Do you think he lets it finish?
I would imagine he lets it finish because it's finished. And I'm looking at it with my eyes. But I think that in this position, this is one of those easy to throw your opponent off kilter kind of plays where whether it's effective or not in a sort of broad sense purely depends on how much Light Brigade's practiced against it. And I would assume he's not practiced too much.
The one gas steal is not that intimidating, of course. If Abaddon would have been able to pull this off, and if he would have been able to get both assimilators, that is fantastic.
I mean, that's one of those things that can just end games immediately, but at the same time on this map, I always get a little bit worried about if you do try to complete this double assimilator, because the intuitive thing is to just get a forge and expand. And this map has a very tight choke at the entrance that makes it very easy to defend pretty straightforwardly. As we can see, because of the early game shenanigans from Abaddon, the cybernetics score is quite a bit quicker for our player from Microsoft. And we all know that with a quick cybernetics score, you get quicker warp gate technology. And with quicker warp gate technology, you can actually start warping in units on the other side of the map, which makes life beautiful. Oh, Light Brigade had an opportunity to get that probe into a hidden location. I mean, it's been taking the long road all around everywhere. But now if we see the Mothership Core coming out, a single Zealot popping up, I think probably the strongest play for Light Brigade is very clear. Go for a 3-gate pressure. expand behind. You can do a very late Stargate and do some very clever moves with Phoenixes on this map that are very effective.
This is really interesting. He's already dropping pylons on this side of the map, despite that early game shenanigan not really working out, and his warp gate is also a little bit later. Even though, did Light Brigade forget to research warp gate, Sean?
Oh, wait. Oh, what? Oh my god. Light Brigade! Ah! Look at it. Here's the button. I'm clicking it. No, it's not spending my money and starting the research. Oh, you know, this is exactly what makes this a very tough spot to be in. If you get a little bit distracted, you can easily forget some very, very important upgrades like Warp Gate. And I mean, I think the biggest distraction of all is seeing a probe make buildings in your base at like the 1 minute mark.
Yes, that always throws me off. We see a Nexus being wept in as well, so even though the early game didn't really work out for Abaddon, I must say things are looking up for him. I don't necessarily normally think like, oh, the Twilight is the best idea, but in this situation it could absolutely work.
Oh yeah.
Warp Gate is super late for his opponent, and his opponent is going for the Stargate, which of course can deal either a lot of damage or almost no damage at all. Oh, and we even see a Dark Star. Okay, I didn't expect that, which also could work.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's saying, okay, well, if you got your gas stolen, you're probably going to have to stay very, very defensive. I mean, all the big aggressive plays need lots of gas. Even a lot of the big defensive plays need lots of time. So this Dark Templar opening doesn't have to be an all-in. We see that there's the expand right there for Abaddon. I think this is a very, very clever play out of Abaddon.
It could definitely work, especially because he already has the pylon up on the other side of the map, which is one of the most important factors in PvP, especially when you want to play Dark Shrine. The first Oracle is making his way across the map, and of course this Oracle is going to be important in many ways. Not only can it do a lot of damage, but is it going to scout the Dark Shrine, which normally it should.
Oh, well, Abaddon already has his mothership core there. It looks like he's prepared, and he sees the Dark Shrine, and there's the overcharge. How many probes will he kill? It looks like 2. But now he knows what his duty is, to get the hell home and become a detector.
We even see a second Oracle on the production app as well. What I really loved is you saw Light Brigade click on the building immediately. You know, it could look like a pylon every now and then. We've all made that mistake playing StarCraft 2. It's like, oh, that's just another pylon. And suddenly you hear the lovely sound of DTs killing everything in your main. And you're just hating on life for the next 20 seconds. But Light Brigade checked. You saw him click on the pylon. And I think he's going to be more than ready to deal with these Dark Templars.
Very elegant play here from Abaddon. It's not overcommittal. He's not all in on the Dark Templar play. It's just a transition that's working very nicely. He's forced a second Oracle, which, as we all know, is not very useful beyond now. And Abaddon doesn't even need to build any more Dark Templar for it to have already been a very, very effective play. We see that he's getting the Immortals. He's going to be getting +1 soon, and going straight for Colossus, a very strong play on this map.
Yeah, I really like going straight for the Colossus. Also, when you feel that your early game maybe hasn't really gone the way that you had in mind, Colossus is always a solid way to just come back, because you know that your opponent is not going to attack into the Colossus unless he really loves seeing his army just melt against very shiny big lasers.
It's so easy to defend the gold too, and to harass the gold. I mean, getting the Colossus advantage is tremendous. Abaddon is delaying the gas at his expansion. We're at 9 minutes and no gas is there. And as long as Abaddon can begin his Colossus production earlier, though, I think he's going to be in very, very content shape.
I really like that he's getting a cannon as well in both mineral lines. He has to worry about these oracles. He knows that there are oracles out on the map, and we all know that feeling of when you just move out with your army and you kind of forget about the oracle. Suddenly it flies in, it kills all your workers. Having just one cannon there is already going to make your life so much easier. Look at this.
And it looks like just straight target firing, trying to pick off as many probes as possible. Went from 2 to 5. Looking good.
Can we take a look at the working count shot? Currently, we see there are 44 workers for our blue Protoss against 36 from Abaddon. So Light Brigade is in, Light Brigade. Man, it's like switched up on the other side. It looks super confusing. But Light Brigade is in a good shape, representing Microsoft. He's ahead economically, but our red Protoss player, Abaddon, representing National Instruments, is ahead in that Colossus stack. And that is definitely something to hang into, or hold on to.
As you say, Abaddon, with those cannons, easily thwarted the incoming oracles. And wow, interesting choice. More oracles coming up from Light Brigade. And what I think this is really the hallmark of Team Microsoft, that as much as we've been talking and lauding Abaddon's opening, I mean, 46 to 39 probes at this point is a huge boon. for
it is.
Team National or Team Microsoft.
It definitely is, but I still like the Colossus, and I feel that without a real answer to those Colossus, I don't think that Light Brigade is in a position to actually finish this game. He's going to drop his own Robo-Wave right now, but he's a solid 2 Colossus behind by the time he's going to be able to start his first Colossus. So a really cool play, and I would love to see it, is him dropping the Fleet Beacon and maybe getting some Tempest out. How cool would that be?
Oh, that's always a great play to do when you think you have a lead in supply, but you're behind on Colossus, because your lead in units allows you to control the map, allows you to push your enemy back. But the Tempests are the ones that can continue to tip the tides in your favor, because typically in PvP and Wings of Liberty, if you just fell behind in Colossus, you were dead.
Yeah, you fell behind in everything. It's like, okay, so he has more Colossus than me. I can't really do anything other than hoping that he doesn't really attack me just yet. We saw this Colossus shooting at something of the ground, which is interesting because there was just an Oracle there, so I guess attack move went wrong. But that's okay, happens to the best of us.
Light Brigade now getting his Twilight Council. 6 gateways out for Light Brigade, and we don't really see that many for Abaddon. He's just now beginning to level himself up from 2. And I mean, this is looking to be kind of a standard PvP in terms of their defenses, their answers, how they're transitioning. So, I mean, even though we see that supply differential, still a relatively close game because of that Colossus count. But what do you think is the big next move for each of these players?
I think it's going to be going up to 3 bases, because I really feel the player that's going to attack is going to have a hard time getting the engagement that he's looking for. And it's very easy to get nervous in a situation like this. Of course, these guys are not pro gamers and they don't play on a stage like this any given day. So it's very easy to think like, hey, maybe I should attack because I'm either too far behind if I go in a macro game, or I should attack because I think I can win this game. But I love this. They're both doing the correct thing right now, going up for another base, because we all know that it can be hard to attack in PvP, and I think this is by far the right decision for both of them.
Oh, and especially given the fact that you have a high ground here and a choke, great defensive position. When you step into this area, you leave yourself open to getting hit from multiple sides. It's very difficult to defend that when compared to this, so it might not be as lucrative, but I really do like the side expansion much better.
Of course, the one thing that Light Brigade does have going for himself is that he does have that Stargate out on the map already. We even see Abaddon opening or whopping in a second robotics facility, so he's really going to bank on that Colossus lead that he already has. The Phoenix, the hallucination scouts have been excellent throughout the entire game, and I would really love to see him drop the Fleet Beacon, and if he does it, Sean, I'm very proud. I'm getting excited in my little Protoss heart.
That's a really kind of hard transition to make, is the one to Tempest, but man, when it works super hard. Right now it's 3-2 Colossus. I'm getting a little concerned. Abaddon has lightened himself up on the Colossus production. Oh no, he needs to begin churning those out more. I mean, he's about to fall behind. They're now tied in Colossus production, with Light Brigade taking a slight lead.
Yeah, I think he was supply blocked for a while. I think that has something to do with it. So I guess he's going to fire them up real soon again. We see the second robotics facility for Light Brigade as well. So soon they will be able to produce an even amount of workers. Upgrades, it's very even on both sides, but I do like Light Brigade adding the second forge right now. I think that's also an excellent play. Overall, this is just the type of PvP, Sean, where you're just macroing, and then when your lasers really start going, you really hope that you're in a good position. Otherwise, you could be macroing 10 minutes for almost no reason.
Yeah, that might be the most brutal aspect of Protoss versus Protoss, that it really does all come down to who gets their Colossus in the right position first. I mean, this is a super high-value Oracle that's just been scouting everything. It's gotten even some kills picking it up
living on the edge
way.
as well, Sean, with 1 HP. Laughs in the face of danger.
I know, I've got an HP, I'm fine, relax, Mom, I'm an adult.
Mom, I know what I'm doing. I got at least 1 HP. We see a bunch of cannons being wiped in. Oh, there is an observer with his army as well, because there was this one Dark Templar luring around the corner.
And I like this pylon placement down at the south side for Abaddon. Very, very hard for our Protoss player in blue to justify moving all the way down south, but I'm just getting increasingly worried for Abaddon. He's now in a position where he has to go for the extreme late game if he wants to be able to win. And we see all the transitions for Light Brigade already en route. There's the +1 armor upgrade. The Templar archive is done. There's 1,200 gas banked in the unit count.
He can wipe in so many Archons. Holy Archon. He could wipe in like 6 of them. Almost.
A little bit high on the probe count right now. There's 70 on the field for Light Brigade, and you normally want to have slightly lower probe counts in this matchup just because the final fight means so much. But as you were saying, Roddy, I think Holy Archon Batman is like the appropriate. Oh,
And there's this one guy who couldn't find a friend. No one wanted to go fusion core with him.
He's the third wheel. He's going to form a group of 3 with this Archon and just be the sort of tag along.
They said, become a High Templar, it will be fun, they said. And now he's sitting there all by himself.
Oh god, this is the loneliest Templar.
He's like, I know I should have been a Zealot, at least they hang out with him, with each other.
It's okay, he's going to do a huge feedback on the Mothership core and Disney will make a movie out of it.
And we say he's the real MVP. He's the real MVP.
Yeah, it's Rudy the Templar. Oh, no, never mind, sorry.
I recently watched Rudy. I'm so happy. Mr. Bitter loves Rudy. He thinks it's one of the best films of all time.
I think he cries every time. And the important thing is that he's not here to tell anyone otherwise. So we see Abaddon now moving to the south side of the map. And as we've said many times before, your composition, pretty clear what it's going to be. Your positioning, that's the deciding factor.
I like how he's still trying to do stuff with Dark Templars. He's getting a little bit unfortunate now with the timing, perhaps. Those 3 DTs are all in range of that one observer. But at the same time, he's able to snipe this army. But he has to be careful, Sean. I do not think he wants to fight with just 1 Archon against 7 Archons. But he gets a snipe on the base, which is awesome. Is that a recall?
Oh, no. Abaddon! Abaddon! Abaddon!
Recall!
Oh. No. Where's the recall? Where's the recall? And he escapes, but I mean, the losses, though, aren't big on number-wise. They are huge functionally. MVP
this Oracle!
Oh, my God.
This Oracle does not stop. He's going to get out a win? No.
Oh, I should have listened to Mom.
I was living a little too YOLO after all.
So now it looks like with 6 Colossus and 11 Stalkers. I mean, those Stalkers are not useful in this late game fight. It's going to be Archons in massive numbers. I mean, can Abaddon get into a good angle in this final fight?
Maybe with a good time. I don't think he should try to save this base. Like, I like what he's doing right now. Just shoot with the Colossus. No, don't stay there, Abaddon. Oh, look at his Archon shot.
Archon's just absorbing so much, but Colossus count, though tied 6 and 6, there's only 4 here for Light Brigade. Those Zealots at the front, it's going to get ripped down.
3 Colossus. Donation Colossus. That's fair. Microsoft thinking about everybody. We see a second Stargate being wiped in as well. Now it's just a matter of time, I think, before we're going to see the Fleet Beacon. I think he wants it, Sean. He's thinking about it. He wants it. He's on the edge right now. Shall I warp in the Fleet Beacon or not? And I think he's going to do it.
Well, I mean, I think Abaddon got a very, very fortunate engagement there, and he's also been staying very low on Zealots, which is sort of an odd goal that you have in this matchup. Zealots are so easy to warp in, you have so much extra money, but you need to be very selective of when you warp them in due to the fact that, as you might imagine, pretty much every late game Protoss unit kills them easily.
Yeah, it's really fun how the Zealot works in this matchup. It goes from really good to not that good to very useful again. And then like the later we go, the less useful it becomes. But whenever there is a fight and something dies, then we always want to reinforce with Zealots immediately. And look at the production tab, Sean. We do see the Fleet Beacon.
Oh, this is such a tough transition to make properly. But Light Brigade doesn't really want to have that many Tempests. I mean, 4 to 6 in that range is great at picking off Colossus.
Yeah, 5 is the magic number. If you can get 5 Tempests, I think that's always amazing. You can obviously get 1 extra in case you're afraid you lose one. And I love what Abaddon is doing. Even he's getting the Stargates right now. Of course, he can't warp in the Fleet Beacon yet because he never had. And look at this. He's even sending a few Zealots, freeing up supply for those Tempests. This is solid play.
Very, very nice. We see Abaddon being very careful about what he warps in. He's warping in a few DTs that will not only take it out, but go undetected. And here's the counter from Light Brigade. Great, great coordination.
We see another Robo being warped in as well, so we're going full macro mode over here. He has to be a little bit careful because his army is going to position himself. This is one of the smallest ramps in the entire game. And look at these Archons. They're going to be stupid. These Archons are not that smart and actually take a lot of damage. But of course, Abaddon can just run down this ramp, or can he?
Oh, well, it looks like the angle is pretty good for our blue Protoss player. Those Colossus, the ones in the back, are not really able to fire, but somehow Abaddon has managed to break himself through, and we see a retreat. Abaddon with a very fortunate retreat. Jeez.
That was a big weapon. That was a really good fight for Abaddon. That was pretty much as good as he could have hoped for. He even had 1 High Templar. If he would have landed the feedback, Sean, I would have lost it because then all those Colossus would have been kind of trapped. He's going to try to counterattack, but Light Brigade has so much production that he's just producing a ridiculous amount of supply in almost no time. He was down to 120 and now he's maxed out again. The beauty of Protoss.
So what an excellent, excellent play that we're seeing right now. Really intense PvP. I was not expecting a game to go on this long with this many nice moves from each player. We see those 3 Tempests coming up. As you say, the ability to one-shot the Colossus is definitely the big money amount that both players are going to be looking for.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Abaddon should do right now. He's a little low on gas. There isn't really a right or wrong choice. I think trying to harass all the time is a very good one. We can see that Light Brigade is really worried about losing his potential 4th or maybe even his 3rd base. So he's keeping his army on the south side, but more and more dark spread all over the place. And now he does reveal the fact that he has Tempest as well. And I think this is the cue for Abaddon to just get out of here, at least for now, because you don't want to fight Colossus with Tempest. It's kind of an unfair fight.
Yeah, but the fortunate thing is that if you look at the speed of the Colossus compared to the speed of this army, they can dart forward, retreat, and this means that these Dark Templar are getting to do more and more damage as Light Brigade is feeling less comfortable walking his whole army up. Gold base attempt from Abaddon again. I mean, this is an amazing game number 2 in this matchup.
Yeah, we see Light Brigade is still maxed out. He has to worry. I think right now he's a little paranoid about perhaps losing a lot of his observers. There are just Dark Templars all over the place, and we all know how stressful it can be when all you hear is Dark Templars attacking, not at 1 or but at 2 or 3 different locations. I was very confused about the Phoenix. I was like, he made a Phoenix. Why did he make the Phoenix? Well, this makes so much sense. He made a Phoenix to snipe the Warp Prism.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about it.
It's not efficient at all, but you're trying to have the best maxed army possible. A Phoenix is faster than a Warp Prism. It's guaranteed to take it out, and it's only 2 supplies, so you can still devote most of the rest of your defenses to really what you want to be building. And now we see, again, 54 probes, which is actually not that bad for Abaddon, as he has a lot of money banked up. It's the gas that's so important in these late game fights.
Yeah, and also overall the army of Light Brigade looks really solid. Like if you tune into a GSL game at any given moment, late game PvP, what do you see? You see Archons, you see Immortals, you see Colossus, and you see Tempest. And you know, the later it goes, the more Tempest you see. But I really love the fact that he got the Tempest whenever he decided to get them. We see Abaddon right now getting his own fleet beacon. He's also wiping in 3 Void Rays. This is not the moment for him to fight, because he doesn't really have an answer to those Tempest.
Gosh. The Tempests are just going to chew down these Colossus one at a time. Abaddon's actually looking for a fight, and he's elected to go now. A beautiful angle for Light Brigade. He is going to tear this army to shreds, and Abaddon with the bad angle just gets eviscerated.
PvP is such an unforgivable matchup.
Oh,
you could have played pretty nice. GG is called. It's a little bit unfortunate because he played a good game and now in the end it looks so one-sided. But that's PvP as well. We even said it in the start of the game. If you get caught off guard, if your army is slightly out of position, or if you have a few of the wrong units, well, then it looks way more one-sided than it was.
So brutal. I mean, Abaddon, I think, played a fantastic long-form game. He was looking to be so stable going into the later and later stages of the game.
Yeah, the Dark Templars were a really nice comeback unit, and he needed to do something to kind of come back. And he won that fight as well on the bottom side, the left bottom side of the map, which worked very well for him. It was awesome. But in the long run, we can see as well, overall, just a few more resources for our Protoss player from Microsoft. And this means that Microsoft goes up in a 2-0 in this best of 7, Sean. Off a quick start over here.
And I mean, this is one of those things that the full results will never really reveal properly, which is how those games played out. I mean, that game number 2 was really nice. I mean, seeing almost 6 base for 6 base PvP is pretty, it's pretty uncommon.
Yeah, that happens like 1 out of 100 games.